Heartland Season 19 has introduced a significant plot development. Ty Borden, long believed to be deceased, is revealed to be alive. This shocking return prompts immediate questions concerning the circumstances of his disappearance, his experiences during his absence, and the reasons for his sudden reappearance. The emotional impact of this reunion on Amy, his wife, is expected to be profound. Let us explore this pivotal and emotionally charged event in the Heartland saga. For many seasons, Ty was a central character, and his bond with Amy Fleming formed a cornerstone of the series, captivating audiences. He was not just Amy's romantic partner, but also a supportive companion and a father figure to their daughter. Lindy Ty's passing in a previous season left an indelible mark on Amy's existence, creating a void that seemed permanent. Viewers witnessed her arduous journey through grief and the immense challenges she faced in attempting to move forward without him. The emotional weight of his death resonated deeply with the show's global fanbase. The subsequent narrative arc, which depicted Amy's efforts to reconstruct her life in Ty's absence, was among the most moving in the series. However, the premiere episode of Season 19 presents an astonishing turn. Ty is back. His appearance at Heartland's threshold stuns both Amy and the audience, delivering a moment that can only be described as deeply unsettling. This raises the immediate and critical question: how is such a return possible? Ty Borden had been presumed dead for several seasons. Fans, much like the characters, had come to terms with the finality of his story and had followed Amy's journey as she navigated life without him. His reappearance, after such a prolonged period, constitutes a narrative twist that few could have foreseen. Ty's return forms the emotional core of this new season's beginning, fundamentally altering the story's dynamics. Amy's long-processed grief is violently challenged by his sudden presence, triggering significant emotional turmoil. She is forced to confront a reality she had deemed impossible. The man she mourned, the individual she had accepted as lost forever, is now standing before her. As Amy endeavors to process the overwhelming shock of seeing her husband alive, she is swept by a torrent of conflicting emotions, including joy, disbelief, anger, and profound confusion. Ty's return transcends a simple plot device. It signifies a moment of reckoning for Amy, who has spent years painstakingly moving on. She has raised their daughter Lindy, continued her dedicated work at Heartland, and gradually found ways to heal from the profound pain of his loss. With his reappearance, Amy now confronts the formidable task of understanding how Ty could have survived and, crucially, why he remained absent for such an extended duration. This situation carries immense emotional weight, allowing viewers to connect with the difficulty Amy faces in reconciling her enduring love for him with the reality of the intervening years and the independent life she has painstakingly constructed. In essence, Ty Borden's return in Season 19, Episode 1, is a moment that reshapes the entire narrative landscape of Heartland. This development revisits a storyline many believed concluded, simultaneously raising fresh questions and unlocking new avenues for the future. His return is a transformative event within the Heartland universe, setting the stage for new emotional journeys, challenges, and personal growth for all characters, particularly Amy, as they grapple with this new chapter. This dramatic twist generates considerable anticipation for subsequent events, leaving characters and viewers alike eager for answers surrounding Ty's mysterious comeback. How did he survive? Why did he stay away? And what implications does this hold for Amy and her future? These are but a few of the enigmas poised to unfold, positioning Season 19 as a crucial chapter in the Heartland narrative. Ty Borden was a pivotal figure in Heartland for many seasons, and his death was among the most heart-wrenching moments. For years, audiences watched Amy Fleming navigate the deep sorrow of losing her partner and the father of her child. His death signaled a major turning point. Both characters and viewers had accepted that Ty's tragic story had reached its conclusion. In the seasons that followed, his absence profoundly shaped the plot, especially Amy's personal development as she learned to cope. It was depicted in Season 14 that Ty succumbed to a gunshot wound sustained while rescuing a wild horse. The incident was shocking and devastating. The narrative primarily focused on the emotional toll Ty's death exacted on his family, especially Amy. She endured raw, intense grief, a painful journey shared by viewers. Reconciling her life without him was an immense struggle. Ty's passing significantly disrupted Heartland's storyline, a loss mourned as deeply by fans as by the characters. For Amy, the experience was isolating. Her personal and professional life had been deeply intertwined with Ty through their collaborative work at the Heartland. Their love story was central, and his death represented a profound emotional shift. After his passing, Amy had to find the strength to continue. She raised Lindy as a single mother while maintaining her responsibilities at Heartland. Throughout this period, Amy demonstrated incredible resilience. Though the pain never fully subsided, subsequent seasons focused on her journey of healing, acceptance, and rediscovering purpose. The rest of the family, including Jack and Lou, also grappled with Ty's absence, which affected the ranch's daily operations and raised questions about the family's future. Eventually, Amy cautiously explored new relationships, attempting to balance her enduring love for Ty with the demands of her evolving life. Her story became one of grief, recovery, healing, and adaptation. Watching Amy grow and adapt without Ty was part of what kept the show emotionally compelling for viewers. It was a powerful portrayal of rebuilding after a monumental loss. Nevertheless, Ty's memory was never far from Amy's thoughts. As she moved forward, his absence continued to resonate. She often reflected on how different life might have been with him by her side. The emotional wounds, though healing, remained. Amy's journey was irrevocably altered by Ty's death, and the pain of that loss never truly vanished. The show's handling of his absence in subsequent seasons underscored the tragedy. His death was presented as final, with no indication of a possible return. The narrative shifted to reflect this finality, both for the characters and the audience. Amy's healing was framed by learning to live without him. Against this backdrop, Ty's sudden return in Heartland Season 19 Episode 1 assumes profound significance. After years of mourning and believing him lost, Amy and the fans are confronted with the staggering reality that Ty is alive. This is a shock not only for Amy, but also for viewers, who had accepted the permanence of his character's death. Ty's return immediately brings forth numerous questions about his experiences during the years he was presumed dead. How did he survive? Why did he not make contact? What has he been doing all this time? These questions, along with the emotional impact of his reappearance, drive the tension and excitement of the season premiere. This twist challenges all preconceived notions about Ty's storyline and adds new layers of complexity to the characters' relationships, especially between Amy and Ty, as they attempt to make sense of his returns. The belief that Ty Borden's journey had ended tragically was fundamental to the show's narrative, deeply affecting both characters and the audience. His death was a defining moment in Heartland's history, shaping the show's direction for multiple seasons. With his return, the series takes a bold, unexpected turn, opening a multitude of new possibilities and emotional journeys for the characters. The relationship between Amy Fleming and Ty Borden was a central emotional pillar. For many years, their love story, built on mutual support, trust, and a shared passion for Heartland, captivated viewers. When Ty passed away in Season 14, it was a devastating turning point. Amy's grief was palpable, and her struggle to move on became a major theme. Ty's return in Season 19 thus presents an incredibly complex and emotional situation for Amy, forcing her to process an almost unacceptable reality. Upon seeing Ty, Amy is likely assailed by a maelstrom of emotion. Initial shock and disbelief are almost certain. After years of mourning and learning to live without him, the concept of his return is nearly inconceivable. Amy has invested so much time in grieving, coping, and accepting his absence. The idea that he could have been alive all this time without her knowledge is a profound shock, unraveling the reality she had painstakingly constructed. A world where Ty was no longer present. Her first reaction is likely a complicated fusion of joy at the prospect of rekindling their life and love, mixed with disorientation, resentment, and perhaps even a sense of betrayal. The pain of his loss, endured for so long, now faces questions about his silence and prolonged absence. Why did he stay away? Why was she left to face the world alone without explanation? Ty's return is more than a reunion. It forces Amy to confront unresolved issues. Over the years, she built a life without him, one she had gradually accepted. She developed coping mechanisms, managed Heartland, and raised Lindy. She was compelled to evolve, and processing her partner's death was integral to that evolution. She learned to be a single parent, run the ranch, and mend her fractured. Seeing Ty again challenges everything she worked so hard to accept. It forces a reevaluation of her past and her future, as if a closed chapter of her life has been abruptly reopened. This return is also a confrontation with the grief that had been her constant companion. The realization that he was out there all along might magnify the pain of that loss, potentially feeling like a betrayal, especially given his silence. Amy may question the genuineness of Ty's return or suspect deeper, unrevealed reasons for his disappearance. The sudden reappearance of someone presumed dead for so long would naturally leave her uncertain about how to navigate this new reality. This emotional weight is compounded by her role as a mother. Ty's absence necessitated her navigating single parent. While she found strength in this role, his return forces a reevaluation of co-parenting. For Lindy, who grew up without her father, this sudden change will also require significant adjustment. Amy's reaction will reflect not only her own feelings, but also the impact on the entire family unit. Furthermore, Amy lost Ty not only as a husband, but also as a partner in their shared work at Heartland. Their bond was built on the ranch and its animals. Now, she must process how that foundation has been altered. Amy's personal development over the years is another crucial aspect of her reaction. She has grown, learned independence, dealt with grief, and made plans for her future. His return makes her question this new identity. How does she fit into a future with him again? Must she relinquish parts of the life she created in his absence? Ty's reappearance forces Amy to reconsider who she has become and what she truly wants, threatening the equilibrium she had painstakingly achieved. Practical concerns also arise regarding their reintegration into each other's lives. Reconnecting will require difficult conversations, healing, and mutual adjustment. After everything that has transpired, simply picking up where they left off is unlikely. Re-establishing trust and understanding will be paramount. In conclusion, Amy's reaction to Ty's return is an emotionally complex journey, likely involving confusion, anger, and betrayal alongside joy and relief. Having lived without Ty for years, his return forces her to confront emotions she thought processed. She must navigate the complexities of their relationship, their past, and the potential future they might rebuild. Her emotions will be layered as she comes to terms with this shock. Ty Borden's return in Heartland Season 19 brings forth a multitude of unanswered questions. For years, characters and the audience believed Ty's story had ended tragically. His death was a central emotional fulcrum. Amy, Jack, Lou, and others spent years mourning and rebuilding. Now, everyone must reevaluate the narrative of Ty's death and its aftermath. The first and most obvious question is, how did Ty survive? His death was depicted as sudden and fatal, resulting from a traumatic gunshot wound while saving a wild horse. His passing left Amy devastated, and the idea of his survival from such an injury seems almost impossible. The show's initial withholding of an explanation heightens the suspense. Did he miraculously escape death and heal independently? Was he rescued? Or did a series of improbable events lead to his survival? These questions will shape the season and character dynamics, particularly Amy's response to his survival. Another critical question is why he left and remained silent. Even if he survived, his prolonged lack of contact is deeply troubling. Characters, especially Amy, will demand to know why he didn't return sooner. His disappearance, especially given the trauma of his injury, raises huge emotional questions. Did Ty stay away to protect his family from further suffering, or were other factors compelling him to sever ties? Perhaps circumstances in his life, mental or physical scars from the ordeal, made him feel he couldn't immediately return to his loved ones. Did he require extensive time to recuperate? Understanding his motivations for leaving and staying out of contact is essential to understanding his character arc in this new chapter. Closely following this is, why didn't he contact Amy or anyone else? Amy's reaction to seeing Ty alive is undoubtedly a mix of joy, confusion, and hurt. Given their deep connection, why did he not reach out? Amy had to rebuild her life ignorant of his survival, and his silence only compounded the pain of her loss. If only to grant her peace of mind, why didn't he let her know he was alive? Furthermore, what were his specific experiences while away from Heartland? Years of silence suggest significant events, possibly preventing his return or even communication. Did he face further physical challenges? Was he involved in something that made reconnection impossible? Perhaps he was dealing with personal trauma, guilt over his presumed death, or healing from emotional scars. As the season unfolds, his mysterious absence will likely be explored, revealing more about his experience. Understanding Ty's experiences during his absence is crucial to grasping the impact of his return on other characters and the larger Heartland narrative. The overarching question is how other characters will react. Jack, Amy's grandfather, who was deeply affected by Ty's passing and viewed him as a son, will have his own set of questions. How will Jack process this sudden reappearance? Amy's reaction will be profoundly conflicted. She spent years grieving and slowly accepting her husband's loss. Now, faced with his return, she must confront not only the joy of reunion, but also the pain of his absence and potential feelings of betrayal and abandonment. This return is more than a reunion. It's a confrontation with years of simmering grief, animosity, and confusion. Perhaps even more significant than his return is the timing. Why has he chosen this moment to come back to Heartland? Has something in his life prompted a change of heart about staying away? Is it the culmination of a journey of self-discovery or healing? Does he now feel equipped to face those he left behind? And most poignantly, has he returned to re-establish his life and reconnect with his family? Or is there a deeper, more intricate motive? These questions will heavily influence the show's emotional arc. As Ty's motivations become clearer, his decision to return at this juncture will likely have far-reaching consequences for everyone. Another important aspect is how Ty's return will affect the family and the ranch as a whole. In his absence, Heartland, both the family and the business, underwent significant transformation. Amy adapted, took on new responsibilities, and raised Lindy largely on her own. She learned to manage the ranch without her partner. Ty's arrival after all these years may disrupt the foundation she has established. As Amy and Ty attempt to reconnect, family dynamics will inevitably shift. Everyone involved will need to reevaluate their role. Will he be able to resume his former life? Or will he find that circumstances have changed too profoundly for a seamless reintegration? For Amy, Ty's return carries far more emotional weight than just a reunion. She has spent years rebuilding, developing as an individual, shouldering responsibilities as a mother and a leader at Heartland. His return could jeopardize the stability she worked so hard to achieve. Having come to terms with widowhood, she must now face what his return means for her personally. Are her feelings the same, or has her own growth and the passage of time altered them? The emotional questions for Amy are deep, forcing her to confront her past and reimagine a future that now includes Ty once more. Ty's return also centers on themes of healing and closure. The lack of closure was a difficult aspect of his absence. Amy never had a proper goodbye. His reappearance offers a chance to heal old wounds, but also risks reopening them. Will his return further complicate Amy's healing, or will it provide closure? Her emotional journey will require reconciling the past with the present, making sense of lost years. She must find a way to forgive him, for herself, their daughter, and their family. The future of Heartland itself is also in question. Amy and Ty built something together. During his absence, Amy, with family support, adjusted to a new reality. Now, his return will force them all to navigate emotional, practical, and operational changes at the ranch. What role will Ty play at Heartland? Will he seek a new purpose or find that too much has changed? Ty's relationship with Lindy is another major emotional thread. Amy raised Lindy alone, and Lindy was very young when Ty disappeared. Now older, she will have her own reaction to the return of a father known primarily through stories and photos. The dynamic between father and daughter as Lindy navigates this emotional reunion is likely to be a moving storyline. Rebuilding their bond will require time, effort, and vulnerability from both. Ultimately, the reasons for Ty's departure and his return will be central to Heartland's ongoing narrative. These questions will unfold over the season, providing deep emotional arcs for the characters and a powerful journey of healing, forgiveness, and transformation for the audience. As Ty's motivations and the truth behind his absence are revealed, they will shape the story's emotional direction and determine whether the character